So, the votes are in, or should I say, I calculated them at the start of the week, and this was the result. Starting from the lowest, in last place, with an absolutely tragic 21 votes, Tronald. Guess no one wants to see the wizard in action. Up next, with 52 votes each, we have a tie between Mite and Saxy. Moving up with 74 votes, we've got Raarh. In second place, with 132 votes, we have Let Dice Decide, which means a lot of you were down for some pure chaos and let fate determine the matchup. And finally, at the top, with a whopping 136 votes, the winner is Celestia. Looks like people really want to see how she stacks up against Alden. Divine magic, or whatever it is now, versus blade singing. Should be very interesting.
So, I know that's what they voted for, but I can just pick someone else, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sweet, well in that case, I guess I'll pick, nah, I'm joking. How about me and you give it a rumble, Celestia? You can test any new stuff out and I can, well, demonstrate my talents.
Sounds good to me. Been wanting to see what all the Bladesinger hype is about.
All right then, so I'd like both of you to roll for initiative.
So that's a 12 from me, Joe.
Joe, what do I add for my initiative bonus?
You are fucking with me, right?
Yeah. So that's a 15 from me. I'll do my best to make it quick, Celestia. No need to drag out your suffering.
Well, get on with it then. What are you doing?
Oh, before you start, quick thought. Seeing as you both have polymorph, shall we just agree that neither of you use it? Because let's be honest, it'll just turn into a giant hit point slog. You turn into a mammoth, then she turns into a mammoth, and we all just stand around watching two big dumb animals slap each other for 20 minutes. Not exactly riveting.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Agreed. A battle of skill is far more civilized. Let's keep it to wit, steel, and magic.
Let's get this going then, guys. Alden, you're up.
All right, so mage armor is already up, naturally. First, I activate blade song. Then I use acrobatics to vault up to the high ground. Nice elevated position, partial cover from the ice. Plus, I've seen enough movies to know that the high ground is important. Now that I'm up here, it's time for a little spectacle. I pull out 10 copper pieces from my satchel and throw them in a spread toward Celestia. As they scatter, I cast animate objects on them. Those little devils, pardon the pun, are now hovering, ready to strike. Let's see how you handle a swarm.
Using money as a weapon, truly fascinating. Old me would have hated that. Wealth is power and all, but Alden's really taking that to heart.
I cast Fireball right in the center of your flying coins. Let's see how well they handle a good old-fashioned explosion.
Ah, they lived a short but beautiful life. Brief, yet impactful, like a fine souffle.
Counterspell.
Never mind.
Oh, you dick.
Celestia, you thrust your hand forward, conjuring a bead of molten fire that streaks through the air, leaving a sizzling trail of heat against the icy backdrop. The moment it reaches the cluster of animated coins, Alden flicks his wrist, arcane energy snapping through the air, and just like that, the spell fizzles out. No explosion, no fiery display. Just a sudden anticlimactic halt as Alden's counterspell snuffs it out in the blink of an eye. Celestia, I think you might need a new plan.
All right then, let's try something else. I move 30 feet forward, taking an attack of opportunity from one of the coins, whatever. Not gonna let a flying piece of copper stop me.
That's an 11 to hit.
The coin zips past, missing as Celestia strides forward unbothered.
Nice try, Penny, for your thoughts. Anyway, I channel divinity, fiendish wrath.
Oh, a new thing.
You want to give us a quick explanation of what that does?
Oh, gladly. Every creature I choose within 40 feet, so basically you, Alden, and all your little coins, has to make a wisdom save, or you're marked by infernal torment for a full minute. Fail the save? Boom. Instant fire damage. Cleric level plus wisdom modifier, no takebacks. And if you stay too close to me, you're gonna keep burning. Every round, every time you step within 10 feet of me, you take the hit again. And sure, you get to roll a new save at the end of your turns, but let's be honest. If you want to use that blade, you'll want to be up close. So Alden, what's it gonna be? You dodging this, or do I get to watch you roast?
So potentially instant fire damage and a constant reapplication if you get too close. That's spicy, like really spicy.
Okay, so Alden, do you want to roll for all of them individually?
Sure.
Make sure to do yourself too, because you're within range.
Right, so their wisdom save is -4, which means even with the highest roll, a 19 -4, they all fail. Every last one of them. As for me, 13 plus 6, I pass.
Well, that's my turn.
All right, so top of the round.
All right, no more toying around. Bonus action, I command the coins to attack. Celestia, what's your AC?
18.
Out of the 6 that reach you, 4 hit, one of them being a natural 20. So that's 12 plus 16, 28 bludgeoning damage. Those little guys hit like a mountain goat.
Why specifically a goat?
Why not a goat?
True.
Okay. So seeing as the 6 closest to you are already dead on your turn thanks to your fiendish wrath, I'm going to do some classic wizard shenanigans. Instead of waiting for them to burn, I'm going to expedite the process by dropping a fireball right on top of you and the 6 that are swarming you. Damn, 43 points of fire damage.
Roll your save, Celestia.
Not bad, Alden. I rolled a 9 on my saving throw, but I'm using fiendish resilience to pull a legendary save and pass, which means I only take 21.
Huh? You get a legendary resistance?
Yep. Oh, and did I mention I have fire resistance? So yeah, make that 10 damage.
Oh, damn, that's awesome. All right, no sense sticking around up here then. I do a backflip off this ice chunk and move 40 feet closer. Let's really dance.
Do me a favor, give me an acrobatics check for that little stunt.
So with advantage, that's a 15 plus 9 for a 24 total.
As you all watch from the sidelines, the little copper coins twitch midair, then rocket towards Celestia like a swarm of angry hornets. 6 manage to reach her, zipping and striking with uncanny precision. 3 glance off her armor, but the others find their mark. 1 even slams into her temple with the force of a slingshot. Before the last coin even finishes its assault, Alden is already on to his next move. His hand flicks upward, a bead of red light streaking through the frozen air before erupting into a fireball right on top of Celestia. A wave of fire engulfs her. The explosion rocks the ice, sending a shockwave outward. For a moment, the flames obscure Celestia entirely. But as they clear, she's still standing, barely singed, the heat flickering harmlessly around her. She dusts off her shoulder like it was nothing. Alden watches, then laughs, shaking his head. Without another word, he backflips off his icy perch, landing smoothly as he closes the distance, boots sliding slightly against the frost.
All right, first off, those 2 coins within 10 feet of me take another 14 fire damage, so they're done.
All right, 2 more coins flicker with heat before dropping lifelessly to the ice. That leaves just 2 still floating around.
Want to make saves for them, Alden? See if they break free from my fiendish wrath?
Sure, but they'd need nat 20s to shake it. And nope, they're still marked.
Perfect. Now, for my action. With one hand clutched on my transformed holy symbol and the other resting on the mark on my stomach, I cast Infernal Calling to summon a white Abishai right next to Alden.
You do know you can't actually control that thing, right?
Yeah, I was about to say, are you sure this is a good idea?
Yeah, it's literally in the spell description, Celestia. You don't command it, you negotiate with it.
Yeah, but I'm very persuasive.
The ice beneath Alden cracks. A jagged black rift tears open, splitting through the frozen battlefield like a wound in reality itself. From within, a gust of frigid air howls outward, carrying with it a scent that burns the nose, sulfur, blood, and something far older, far colder than just ice. Clawed fingers, unnaturally long, grasp the edges of the rift. Then with a slow motion, a white-scaled figure pulls itself through, unfolding like a nightmare given form. Wings spread wide. Its scaled hide is as pale as fresh snowfall, but there's nothing soft about it. Every ridge, every contour is jagged and sharp, like ice that's been broken and reforged 1,000 times. Its head, serpentine, draconic, lined with fanged ridges, swivels first toward Alden. Cold, calculating eyes like 2 shards of glacier lock onto him. Clawed feet scrape against the ice, tail lashing once, twice. A breath escapes its maw, curling in the freezing air, thick with menace. Then it turns to you, Celestia, and for a single heartbeat, the battlefield is silent. Then, impossibly, it kneels.
Olenath vir kratis zath treloth otir selthra ven tujvaya.
Celestia, you understand that as
I am Zerzith. Your will is my command, O daughter of fire and shadow.
Well, that's unexpected. All right, Zerzith, kill. You know what I mean. Don't kill, just knock out.
Vaer kashazu.
or as only you understand.
As you command.
Anyway, for my bonus action, I'm casting Healing Word. So that's now 1d6. So 9 points healed. And that's my turn.
All right, Zerzith takes its turn. It makes a multi-attack toward Alden. Both attacks are reckless. First attack with the sword. Oh, that's a natural 20.
Of course it is.
That's 15 slashing damage as its blade carves through, ice cracking under your feet from the force. Second attack. That's a 17 to hit.
Misses.
All right, but you do need to make a Constitution saving throw from the first one.
For concentration or for an effect save?
Concentration.
That's a 7 plus 11, so 18. I save.
Your con save is plus 11.
Yeah, 5 from Blade Song, 2 from my bonus, 4 from proficiency.
He's got that supreme focus.
The devil snarls at you, Alden.
Zathra Ulanat Gotavir.
I don't understand what you're trying to tell me, and I'm really trying to understand. Maybe you could slow it down a bit?
The devil stops for a second, head tilting slightly, clearly confused by why a lower breed is talking to it. And with that, it's the top of the round. Your turn, Alden.
All right, first my last 2 coins go in for the attack. 19 and 21 to hit.
Both hit.
Nice. That's 14 points of damage. Then I use my feat, Phantom Striker, to teleport 15 feet away from this very aggressive ice lizard before it turns me into a chew toy. Then I'm running another 40 feet over here, so I'm now a good 50 feet away from it. All right, seeing as the coins are dead anyway, I drop concentration on them. No point keeping them around just to watch them burn. Then I'm upcasting Shadow Blade to level 3. Actually, let's just say I did that before I made my movement. The way the feat's worded, I feel like it should be a spell directly before or after.
Since that's a Joe Brew feat, want to give us a quick rundown on what it does?
Of course. So, Phantom Striker, it's a Bladesinger prerequisite feat that makes me even harder to pin down. It lets me Shadow Step Assault, which means once per turn, if I make a melee attack against an enemy or cast a spell of first level or higher, I can teleport 15 feet before or after, and on top of that, it boosts my dexterity by 1.
What the fuck, Joe?
Don't give me that. All of you have cool shit, magic, weapons, divine nonsense, and in what reality am I going to deny something Matthew fucking Mercer requested? The man was DMing back when Tronald still had a smooth face, goddammit.
Excuse me.
The point is, he's the OG.
I mean, it's a good feat, don't get me wrong, but let's actually look at it logically. Phantom Strike isn't overpowered, it's just well designed for a Bladesinger. You can teleport before the attack, but only if your immediate intent is to strike in melee or cast a spell of first level or higher. That means no blinking around for free. Every teleport has to be tied to offensive action. And that first level spell restriction, that's specifically there to prevent abuse, so you can't just keep disengaging without risk. Now sure, you can chain movement by constantly attacking, but that's literally what blade singing is designed for. Fast mobile combat, where you weave in and out of reach. And let's be real, this is barely different from Misty Step, Mobile, or Cunning Action Dash. It just lets a blade singer do what a blade singer should be doing, darting through the battlefield like an arcane duelist. That being said, watching you yo-yo around fights is going to give me a headache, but honestly, respect.
Nice analysis. All right, it's your turn, Celestia.
All right, let's patch myself up a little. I cast Cure Wounds on myself at level 4. So that's 4d10 plus 5 for a total of 34 HP.
That's an awesome heal.
True that?
And before you ask, yes, Cure Wounds has been buffed for me too, along with a few other things, but you'll see those as time goes on.
Right.
God damn it. I was going to do Spiritual Weapon, but I've just cock-blocked myself with Cure Wounds. Ah well, you'd outmaneuver it too easy anyway. Right, well that's my turn, Joe.
Zurzeth spreads its wings, the force of the motion kicking up loose shards of ice as it launches itself forward, flying 40 feet closer to Alden. It doesn't quite reach him, but that doesn't seem to bother it. Instead, it slows midair, hovering just out of reach, its piercing, reptilian eyes locked onto its target. A guttural snarl rumbles from deep in its throat.
Triskaravot.
Top of the round, Alden, your play.
All right, first off, Shadow Step Assault 15 feet this way, then I run another 40 feet to the side of Celestia, closing the gap before making 2 Booming Blade attacks with Shadow Blade. That's a 20 to hit and a 25 to hit.
Can he do that, Joe?
You mean teleport and then run before making an attack?
Yeah.
Yep, as long as he attacks with melee or casts a spell of first level or higher before the end of his turn. If he doesn't, he'll just poof back to where he was, magical consequences and all.
Oh, I love restrictions. There's always so many abuses to be found in them.
Right. Well, both of them hit Alden.
Perfect. First hit, 20 Psychic, 4 Thunder. Second hit, 18 Psychic, 6 Thunder. That's a total of 48 damage.
Not triple digits though, is it?
Huh?
Nothing. Just thinking out loud.
Right. Anyway, and just in case you get any bright ideas about running, Celestia, if you move, you take another 22 Thunder damage. You're looking to beat 2 12s for concentration to keep Devil Boy around.
Both pass, 21 and 16. Zurzeth stays.
All right, despite the heavy hits, Celestia keeps her grip on the summoning. Alden's repositioned, she's crackling with booming blade energy, and the white Abishai is still in play. Celestia, you're up.
All right, first. Bonus action healing word on myself. That's 8 health points. Not much, but hey, every little bit helps. Now, for my action, I cast Inflict Wounds at level 3. That's an 18 plus 9, so 27 total to hit.
See, that's close, but not close enough. I use my reaction to cast Shield, bringing my AC to 28.
All right, that's just excessive.
That's not AC, that's plot armor.
No, actually it makes sense. Mage armor, blade song, dexterity bonus, plus shield. Still ridiculous, but not impossible. It is, however, hilarious that even with a 27, you still can't hit him, Celestia.
I don't see the funny side of it.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
All right, Celestia. Your hand crackles with necrotic energy, but as you reach out, Alden's form flickers. An arcane barrier shimmers into existence just in time, and your spell fizzles against it. No contact, no damage. Your turn's up. Zurzith's next. Zurzith lunges, claws and steel slicing through the air with terrifying speed. It brings its blade down first. 19 to hit, which misses. Frustrated, the Abishai follows up with another swing, this time a 24, but the shimmering remnants of Alden's shield spell still linger, turning the strike aside at the last second, magical energy rippling as the devil's blade deflects harmlessly. Despite its relentless assault, Zurzith fails to land a hit. Alden, you're up.
Yeah, this is bullshit. I can't move without taking damage. Neither of us can hit him. And any spell I try to cast either gets counterspelled or blocked by some other nonsense.
Honestly, I wouldn't worry about it. This type of combat, this is literally my bread and butter. If I wasn't untouchable in a duel like this, I'd be doing something very wrong. But put me in a fight where I'm on the back line trying to keep people alive, I'd be useless. Meanwhile, you, Celestia, throw us in a high-stakes battle where the whole team's on the brink of death, you'd outshine me tenfold. That's real power. You could take us from Tombstone City back to fighting fit in one turn. I just make myself hard to kill. Whilst you make other people impossible to kill. Different strengths.
All right, well, it's your turn, Alden.
All right, same play. Booming Blade twice with my Shadow Blade onto Celestia. That's a 20 and an 18 to hit.
Yep, both hit.
All right, so that's 19 Psychic plus 3 Thunder for the first hit. Then that's 13 Psychic plus 7 Thunder for the second. So total damage, 42 points. And Celestia, same deal as before. If you move, you take another 25 thunder damage.
I won't be moving because I'm down.
Oh, damn.
Ding, 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 we have a winner.
Okay, Alden, how do you want to do this?
But I'd really like to try make this a draw. So, as I drop, I activate Infernal Retribution.
Oh, shit. Okay. The moment Celestia collapses, the air around her detonates. A pulse of pure hellfire erupts outward, scorching the battlefield in an instant. The ice beneath her cracks violently as flames tear through the frost, licking hungrily at everything within reach. The infernal blaze spirals out, hungry, vengeful, refusing to let her fall alone. Alden, you're right there. There's no dodging this easily. Make a dexterity save.
Oh boy, natural one.
So that's 45 points of fire damage.
Oh, that is brutal. You down, buddy?
I would be down, yeah. But at the last second, as I'm watching the fire reach out to claim me, I use my reaction to cast Absorb Elements. So that cuts it in half to 22 damage. I live.
That was one hell of a fight. Shame it didn't last too long.
Yeah, maybe it was a little mismatched.
Joe, I'm gonna jog over to Celestia and cast Cure Wounds on her.
You make your way across the battlefield, boots crunching against the scorched and cracked ground. The snow that once blanketed the area is now charred, melted into jagged patterns of ice and ash. Some spots still flicker with flame, not normal fire, but something stranger, something deeper. The ice itself burns, like fuel set alight on water, flickering with a faint orange glow that refuses to die. And yet, Celestia lies in the middle of it all, completely untouched by the fire, as if the flames themselves refuse to harm her. As if they're her ally. Now, the rest of her? Oh, she's absolutely shanked to hell from Alden, but hey, the fire at least seems to be on her side.
That's awesome.
Thanks for getting me up, Saxy.
Oh, you think fire is your ally? You merely adopted the flames.
Tronald, I've just been slapped up. I don't have the patience for your random-ass sayings.
Yeah, man, read the room.
Nah, let him cook.
If you're going to finish it, though, you've got to do it properly.
All right, ahem. I was born in it, molded by it.
Oh my God, shut up.
That actually wasn't half bad. Sure had me convinced.
Convinced at what? That he was a dying walrus, choking on its own self-importance while dramatically narrating its own demise?
Oh shit, that's a visual.
Yeah, something like that.
So, interesting thing. Zurzeth, the white Abishai Celestia summoned using Infernal Calling? Yeah, well, it's still here.
Oh, do you want to do something about that?
What exactly can I do?
I don't know, tell it can go home or something.
Zurzeth, you have fulfilled your summoning. You are free to return to the 9 hells. Thanks for fucking nothing.
Kelthoth Zarash Vektharin Ishveth Rekma Drath Vorl.
Oh my God, can you just tell him to speak English? I mean common.
Zurzeth, can you speak common? If so, can you please just do that so everyone can understand you?
I don't know common, but I do know English. I am, however, contractually prohibited from elaborating further.
What the fuck does that mean?
No clue.
All right, so what were you saying before Tronald rudely interrupted you?
So here's the thing. Usually I just stick around for a little bit, cause some havoc, break a few things, maybe steal a soul or two. But this time, I'm not exactly allowed to. It's, complicated.
Okay then, I'm gonna pop up my tiny tower, Joe. Then we can all head inside and get some rest.
With a flick of Tronald's hand, the air shimmers and twists, a translucent outline appearing before rapidly solidifying into a compact but sturdy-looking tower. One by one, you all begin making your way inside. But just as the last of you steps through, Zurzeth takes a casual stride toward the entrance.
No, not you. Bad dog, you stay out here.
Stopping just short of the doorway, its glowing white eyes narrow.
I am not a dog.
Yeah, whatever. Just, I don't know, have a little wander off somewhere. Go do something devilish.
All right. See you later, I guess.
Right, now that that's over, let's get some rest.
The tower door swings shut behind you, sealing with a soft thrum of arcane energy. Outside, the icy winds howl across the wasteland, and somewhere in the distance, Zurzeth is casually strolling in random directions, humming something that sounds suspiciously like the Imperial March.
Such a strange dude.
All right, the next day arrives, and after a night of much-needed rest, you're all feeling refreshed. The icy winds outside howl just as fiercely as before, but the weight of exhaustion is gone. So, what's the plan?
We need to get a move on and find these frost giants. Who's the best at tracking?
That'd be Celestia, followed by you and Alden. No offense, but I'd rather not trust Raarh as I have a gut-feeling approach to navigation.
Is it ever really wrong, though?
All right, so Celestia takes point, and Tronald and I can hang back to support. We'll help however we can, whether it's keeping us on course or making sure we don't walk straight into something nasty.
Sounds good. All right, Joe, I'm stepping out of the tiny tower and picking up the trail. The footprints in the ground should still be fresh enough to follow.
Apart from the ones directly next to us, because you kind of blew them all up between you.
Meh, we didn't blow them up that bad. So I'll be helping with this. Extra eyes never hurt, and if the trail starts getting tricky, I'll see if I can help piece things together.
Neat. While you're both tracking, I'll be keeping an eye out for anything unusual. Last thing we need is walking into an ambush because we got too focused on the ground and not on what's waiting ahead.
Good point. My perception isn't brilliant, but I can fix that. I'll take to the skies. Give us a bird's eye view, maybe around 120 feet up. That should give me a good look at the landscape, and I'll be able to spot anything weird long before we run into it.
Make sure you don't fly too far ahead of us. If the frost giants see something big and shiny flying overhead, they might not appreciate it.
Yeah. I'll stay within 120 feet, both height and distance. So I'm still in range for message. If I see anything, I'll let you know before it becomes your problem.
All right. With Celestia taking the lead, Alden assisting, Tronald watching for trouble, and Saxy taking to the skies, you set off into the icy wasteland once more. The footprints are still there, heavy and deep, cutting through the snow like scars on the land. Celestia, give me a survival check with advantage, and Tronald and Saxy, give me perception checks.
Before I do that, Joe, I'm going to cast Enhance Ability. Owl's Wisdom for myself. Gotta make sure I'm seeing the right things up there.
As you activate the spell, the mechanisms within your armor shift, almost instinctively, as if responding to your will. The metal plates realign subtly, channels of arcane energy pulsing beneath the surface. A faint hum builds, and with it, a series of almost imperceptible adjustments. Lenses calibrating, arcane filaments threading through the internal systems. It's not just vision, it's perception, clarity beyond what normal eyes can comprehend. The air around you sharpens, details becoming more pronounced, like the world itself has been fine-tuned to perfection. All right, Celestia, roll me a survival check with advantage for tracking.
Tainted 20. I'll take it.
Nice. Tronald and Saxy, give me perception checks.
Natural 20. Why the hell do I always waste these epic rolls on stuff like this?
I wouldn't say it's wasted just yet.
Even with advantage, I rolled a 9. Awesome. Absolutely brilliant. Pretty sure it's the damn frost and wind against my helmet. Knew I should have adjusted the filters before we left.
Yeah, blame it on the armor, Gadget Boy.
Celestia, your tracking leads the group northwest, following the deep-set footprints left behind by the frost giants. At first, the trail is clear, unmistakable, each heavy indentation cutting deep into the snow like battle scars on the land. But as the minutes pass, the storm begins to turn against you. The wind howls through the expanse, dragging with it sheets of sleet and hail that bite at your exposed skin like tiny frozen daggers. Every step forward feels harder, the ice beneath your boots cracking unpredictably, the ground shifting with each gust that tears through the air. The cold isn't just numbing, it's sharp, invasive, creeping beneath your layers, needling into your muscles, settling in your bones. The storm intensifies, swirling around you like a living thing, reducing visibility to a miserable blur of white and shadow. Saxy, you can barely see anything up there. I'd say it probably wasn't even worth flying up. The sleet and snow are making it impossible to get a clear view, never mind hold a straight trajectory. Between the wind and the ice-crusted air currents, it's less scouting, more desperately trying not to get knocked out of the sky. You push forward for another half an hour, moving cautiously through the worsening storm, the prints now barely visible, half consumed by the relentless snowfall. The terrain begins to shift beneath your feet, rising slightly, forming a long, sloping hill. As you crest over the top, Tronald, something catches your eye. At first, it's nothing. Just another ice formation. Jagged, uneven, a natural part of the landscape. Your eyes scan past it, already moving on. But then, something shifts. The smallest disturbance. A breath. A plume of mist, barely visible against the wind, escaping from a break in the frost-covered structure. And since when do ice formations breathe?
All right, everyone shut up for a second. We've got company.
Company as in approach cautiously or get ready to throw hands.
I shake the frost from my helmet and adjust my lenses. What the hell did you even see in this mess? I can barely see my own feet.
I point toward the ice formation. There, you see that? Looks like a frost-covered rock, except it just breathed.
All right, so we've got a frost giant getting cozy with some ice. Do we wake it up and introduce ourselves, or...
If it hasn't spotted us yet, we have an advantage. We should decide quickly, though.
So, how are we playing this? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, but the whole point of this little adventure was to find them. Well, mission accomplished. That means the others can't be far either.
Yeah, we did say Celestia was going to take the lead on this. Use tongues to make sure we're speaking their language. I mean, they might know common, but if they don't, better safe than, oops, we pissed off a giant.
All right, sure, but where do I even start?
Lead with confidence, strength, but no arrogance. Show kindness, but not weakness. They respect power, so stand tall, meet their gaze, and make it clear we're here with purpose, not fear.
As the magic takes hold, a faint shimmer passes over Celestia's lips, unseen but potent. The storm howls around her, whipping at her cloak as she strides forward, boots crunching through the frost-bitten snow. The frost giant, still unaware, remains leaned against the ice formation, breath slow, steady, like a slumbering beast nestled within the storm.
Lifting my chin, I call out, "Mighty warrior of the frozen peaks, hear my words. We come not as enemies nor as prey, but as seekers of parley. The wind howls your name, the ice whispers your strength. Let us stand before you, not in battle, but in words. We seek your leader, the one who carries the weight of your kin's will. Let us speak. Let the storm bear witness, and let the frost be our herald."
As soon as your words leave your lips, the silence stretches, taut as a bowstring. Then, movement. A deep, guttural rumble shakes through the ice as the giant stirs. Chunks of frost and rock shear away from its body, shattering against the ground in bone-rattling cracks. Snow avalanches from its shoulders in thick, rolling sheets, revealing the full, terrible scale of the thing. Muscle and sinew wrapped in a hide tougher than stone, skin kissed by the everlasting cold. It moves, slow at first. Then it drops onto its hands and knees with a force that sends a shockwave through the frozen ground, the wind whipping violently around it. Then it lowers its face. Close. Too close. Its breath is a rolling mist of frost, thick enough to freeze the moisture in the air between you. The sound it makes is somewhere between a growl and a thunderclap. Its nose flares as it sniffs, as though committing every fiber of your being to memory. Then it speaks with a voice like an avalanche roaring through a canyon.
Vad trudar vornskildorum träen, grundar mirath, skorn veldros.
The words hang strange and alien in the air, but you, Celestia, you hear something else. You understand.
You are not of frost and stone. You reek of sulfur and fire, of the lands where the sun lingers too long. Your kind burns, withers, dies beneath the gaze of the ice, yet you stand before me, unbowed. Tell me, small one, why I should not crush you beneath my hand. Why should I waste breath dragging you before Hrimvaldir of the frozen maw, when the storm itself could strip the flesh from your bones? Speak. Now.
We do not bow because we do not fear, and we do not fear because we come with purpose, not weakness. Icehold stands, fat and complacent, believing the frozen wastes belong to them. We know the truth, you know the truth. The ice has never been theirs. We share your hatred, their walls, their chains, their arrogance. They think themselves masters of the cold, but winter does not serve. It takes, it devours. We offer more than words. We offer a path where strength is sharpened, not wasted. Let us speak to Hrimvaldir. Let him weigh us as steel upon the anvil, not as carrion in the snow.
Give me a persuasion check, Celestia.
That's a 13 total.
Flash of genius.
Thanks, I needed that. So 18 total.
The giant exhales, mist curling like smoke from its mouth. It watches you, still as a mountain, the storm raging between you. Then, with a low, rumbling chuckle, it leans back, rising to its full, towering height.
You do not crawl. You do not beg. That is rare for your kind. Perhaps you are more than soft flesh and empty breath. If you seek Hrimvaldir, then walk. If your words hold weight, he will hear them. If not, then the wind will carry your bones where the weak belong.
So the giant turns and begins walking. Do you all follow?
Well, I sure as hell didn't come all this way just to turn back. Let's move.
Yeah, let's definitely follow the massive, possibly still hostile murder machine into an unknown location.
Oh, come on, Saxy. Where's your sense of adventure? You live for this kind of thing?
Yeah, I like this lot already, when they're not trying to kill us at least. Big and direct, my kind of people.
This is going to be interesting.
That's one way to put it. I'll keep leading the conversation, but if things turn, we stay together. No heroics, no foolishness.
The wind howls like a starving beast as the giant presses forwards. It does not slow. It does not falter. It moves as if the storm does not exist. And you all follow. The ground eventually shifts. The ice beneath your boots steepens, the land sloping downward, dragging you toward a darkness that wasn't there before. The descent begins. The wind changes first. No longer wild, no longer random. It moves with purpose, drawn inward, sucked into something vast, something deep. Beneath your feet, the ice darkens, streaked with veins of something older, something that pulses faintly beneath its surface. Then, the entrance looms. A jagged wound in the earth, carved not by tools, but by time itself. A vast chasm, its walls slick with frost so old it gleams like polished stone. It stretches wide, its edges curling inward, more jaws than cave. And still, the frost giant walks. As you move deeper, the snow begins to thin. The ice beneath you feels strange, not solid, not dead. It creaks beneath your boots, a distant shuddering groan that seems to come from deep below, as if the ground itself breathes. The walls are no longer mere ice. They are something else, something fused. Jagged shapes twist outward, some like ribs, others curved into spirals, half consumed by the frost.
Can I try figure out what exactly it is we're walking into?
Sure, make a perception check.
25.
At first, they look natural. But then, in the faint, eerie glow of the ice, you realize they are not. They are bones.
Oh, excellent.
You continue onward, and the deeper you go, the more the air hums, a slow, reverberating thrum that settles in your chest, in your skull, not heard but felt. like the heartbeat of something slumbering just beneath your feet. Then, movement. From the shadows of the cavern, they emerge. Frost giants, massive and proud, watch you with eyes like glacial stone. Some are armored in slabs of ice-forged plate, others wrapped in thick furs, their breath rolling in heavy clouds. But they do not rush to attack. They do not raise their weapons. They watch, silent, waiting. Further in, more of them, different from the warriors. One, towering even among the others, kneels beside a formation of ice-covered stone, dragging a dagger as long as a four-man's body across its surface, carving deep runes into it. Another, adorned in thick chains of ice-wrought iron, stands over a great fire pit that does not burn with flame, but glows with a deep, pulsing blue, as if lit from within by something alive. And then, children. Massive, colossal by human standards, but still dwarfed by their elders. They scramble over jagged ice formations, playing a game with boulders the size of a wagon's wheel, hurling them back and forth as easily as a man might toss a coin. One miscalculates. Stone crashes into a wall, shattering in a spray of ice and debris. A moment of silence, then laughter, a deep rolling boom of amusement as another child shoves the first hard enough to send him skidding across the ice. No one stops them, no one scolds them, for they are learning. Further still, the cavern stretches wider, opening into something immense. And at the heart of it all, a throne, not carved, not built, fused. Two giants, frozen mid-strike, limbs entwined in battle, their last moments sealed in ice for eternity. Their twisted expressions still locked in fury, their final stand now the seat of power itself. Their outstretched arms form an arch over the great hall, their broken weapons still clutched in frozen fists. Beneath their feet, the floor glows, not solid ice, but something else. A river, sluggish with a greenish tint, moving beneath a thin layer of frost. The frost giant leading you does not stop. He does not look back. He walks forward, stepping onto that frozen river, his massive form casting a shadow over the great hall. And then, his voice rumbles through the cavern, a rolling quake of sound that shakes the very bones of this place. A single word, a name.
Hringvaldur.
The ground shifts beneath your feet. Not a slight tremor, not the mere settling of ice, but a deep, rolling quake that rumbles through the very marrow of the earth. The air itself seems to tighten, as if something vast has stirred from slumber, something that was not meant to wake. And then, an eye opens. A single monstrous eye, unfurling from the darkness like a dying sun through storm clouds. Its sheer scale is incomprehensible, easily 10 feet across, far bigger than even Raarh.
Holy baloney, how big?
Bigger than me.
Yeah, I can see that, genius.
Then why did you ask?
I was just, processing. There's big, then there's, oh gods, the mountain is alive and looking at me big.
That is deeply unsettling.
I pressed the eye, Joe.
No, we are not doing this again.
Do you actually want to try to poke the eye? Because I'll let you.
Well, now that you've said it like that, I don't want to anymore. I'll push my intrusive thoughts to the back of my mind.
Good choice. So, the eye, it's a vast glacial orb rimmed with frozen ridges, its iris a swirling abyss of deep blue and ancient silver. The pupil, black as the void, contracts ever so slightly, focusing, seeing. The frost giants you fought before, mere children by comparison. They stood 30 feet tall, and here, among their kin, you've seen some tower nearly twice that. But this is beyond what you thought possible. The cavern itself, you realize, is not a cavern. The jagged formations, the curved, frost-bitten walls, the vast bone-white ridges spiraling along the ceiling. It is all flesh, all form, all part of the slumbering titan before you. It is not merely inside this place. It is this place. Bent, hunched, forced into the mountain by sheer enormity, its body half consumed by ice, its limbs curled inward like a beast barely restrained by its own domain. A gust of air rushes through the cavern, not from outside, but from within. An exhale so massive that it rolls through the space like an oncoming blizzard, scattering frost and loose snow across the ground. The very breath of something ancient. Then, a voice. Low, vast, woven from the echoes of 1,000 avalanches grinding stone to dust. shaking even the frost giant before it. Or as you understand, Celestia.
Do you bring before me, Horkath?
Horkath bows his head, his breath rolling from his mouth in thick mist as he speaks, voice heavy with reverence but not without strength. He is a warrior, but here, before this ancient being, even he chooses his words with care.
Eternal Rimvaldir. Outsiders have come. They speak with fire and steel. They carry hatred for Icehold. They seek words, not war.
A long silence follows. The cavern itself seems to creak, groan. Whether from the weight of ice or the slow, shifting form of the Colossus itself, you cannot tell. Then the voice returns.
Outsiders come. They speak. But what use is a voice that does not know the weight of the wind? You say they carry hatred for Icehold, but Icehold does not breathe. It does not bleed. Icehold endures. Tell me, strangers, what do you know of hate?
Is he saying all this in common?
Yeah, he is.
So, what do I know of hate? Hate is not rage. Rage is quick, bright. It burns, then it's gone. Hate is the ember left behind, smoldering in the ashes, waiting for the wind to breathe it back to life. Hate is knowing someone stole from you. Not a thing, not gold, not something you can take back, but something deeper. A name, a home, a right to stand where your ancestors stood. And no matter how many meals you eat, how many fires you warm your hands by, there's a cold pit in your gut that never goes away. Because you know, somewhere out there they sit in your place, drinking your wine, telling your story like it was always theirs. Hate is the promise whispered, that one day, not today, not tomorrow, but one day, the hand that took from you will be broken, and the name they tried to erase will be the last thing they hear before they die. That is what I know of hate.
A deep groan rolls through the cavern, like glaciers shifting. The great form within the ice shifts, slow but immense, and the world around you seems to move with it. The walls tremble. Ice fractures somewhere in the distance, sending sharp cracks echoing through the frozen halls. Then, the head moves. Massive sheets of frost peel away as Hrimvaldir's colossal form shifts, the sheer weight of his movement sending tremors through the ground. The great eye, 10 feet across, vast as a storm, narrows, and with a slow motion, his head tilts downward. The cavern groans under the strain, cascading in shards from the ceiling as his face looms closer, closer, until the vast frozen ridges of his skull hover mere feet from Raarh. Then he breathes. A slow, cavernous inhale, dragging air through the vast, frozen chamber, pulling the cold into his lungs like a beast tasting the scent of its prey. The force of it nearly yanks you from your feet, Raarh, your boots scraping against the ice as the sudden pull of air threatens to drag you inside its mouth. A pause. Then the voice.
Then you can understand why we hate Icehold. But
the great head tilts slightly, the vast eye narrowing further.
why do you?
Because they stole my father from me.
Then you know loss, but you do not know ours. I am Hrimvaldir, last son of the sleeping maw. My brothers do not walk as I do. They are the sky, the peaks, the valleys that stretch beyond sight. They do not speak, because they have no need. They have become what we were meant to be. They endure where time does not reach. But Scornville does not let them rest. They mine, they carve, they bleed my kin for their power. They scrape the marrow from the bones of gods, calling it theirs. They kill what cannot fight back. Not warriors, not enemies, not beasts, but landvetter, those who have become. They take what the frost has claimed, and they leave only ruin. I, though the eldest of the elders, am still young. Only 2,000 winters have touched me. I am not yet land. I am not yet sky. And so I wait. I watch. And I hate.
Hold on a second. So you're telling me Draugr is residuum?
Tronald, Draugr means blood of the fallen in giant. So, yeah, it would seem that way. I frown, crossing my arms as I think. And Scornvul. It can be interpreted as Icehold, but the way he says it, the way the word carries, it's not just a name. It's a wound. It's spoken with the weight of something lost, something desecrated. There's hatred in it, but not just hatred. There's a kind of sorrow, like calling something home and graveyard in the same breath.
Wait, hold on. He's young? In 2,000 years? You've got to be kidding me. What do Landvetter and Jotunskill mean, Celestia?
Can I roll a check for that, Joe?
No need. Landvetter means the becoming. It's what they call those who have fully transcended, those whose bodies are no longer just flesh and bone, but land itself. The mountains, the valleys, the glaciers, they aren't just part of the world, they are their ancestors. And Jotunskill, Titan's rest, those are the ones still in slumber, not yet fully transformed, but no longer awake like Hrimvaldir. They're waiting, hearts slowed to near silence, on the edge of becoming something more.
My gods, wow. So, how does that all fit together? He says he's the last of his kind, but his kin are still here, just not awake?
Give me a history check.
That's a 27.
You piece it together, the weight of his words settling like frost in your mind. The giants don't just grow old and die, they don't rot, they change. Young ones live as warriors, hunters, raiders, mortal in scale but still immense. But as they age, their bodies become something else, hardened, infused with the ice, their connection to the land deepening. At roughly 1,000 years, they transcend, their flesh beginning to slow, their breath starting to still. They stop moving as much and eventually stop speaking. After a certain amount of time, they are no longer creatures, but land. Their bodies become glaciers, peaks, valleys, the world itself. But Icehold, Scornvel, doesn't see them as sacred. They see them as resources. They cut into them, mine them, steal their lifeblood, residuum or Draugr. Hrimvaldir's kin aren't gone. They aren't dead. They're asleep, waiting for the final change. And Icehold is butchering them before they can go through Landvetter, before they can become eternal.
That's disgusting. So they're basically killing off the old before they can go through their final metamorphosis, taking them while they're vulnerable, while they're unable to fight back?
Maybe, but maybe not. A realization settles over you, slow as falling snow. Perhaps calling them still was wrong. To mortalize, yes, they stop speaking, they stop moving. But that is only because you cannot see it. A movement might take a year, a shifting of great limbs so imperceptibly slow that only when the weight of it tips does it become an avalanche, a landslide, a quake that splits the ice and reshapes the land. Their speech does not stop. It merely stretches beyond the patience of those who listen too quickly. A single word might take a week to form, a slow, rolling grumble that, to lesser beings, is nothing more than the murmur of the mountains, the deep shifting of the glaciers. They are not dead. They are speaking. They are moving. And Icehold is cutting them apart before they can finish their sentence.
So, this whole area, this whole frozen north, that's your brothers and sisters?
Yes, and my mother, and my father, and their ancestors before them. Their hands shaped the storms, their feet carved the valleys, their voices still murmur in the ice, though you do not listen. But many have already fallen. Some were carved away before they could speak their last word, their voices stolen mid-breath, their final thoughts mined from their skulls like mere ore. Some were cut open, their hearts cracked and hollowed, their blood burned by lesser hands that do not know the cost of what they take. Some still sleep, unaware they are being torn apart before they can rise. And some have already been ground to dust, their names lost, their bones forgotten beneath roads and walls that should never have been built. You walk upon their remains.
A silence follows, thick and heavy, pressing into your very bones. This is not just sorrow, it is extinction in slow motion.
So, out of character, I just want to point out, Is anyone else getting, like, completely different vibes from that butt crack mountain now?
Come on, man.
Why the fuck would you say that here?
What? I said out of character. I'm not gonna be so disrespectful in character, am I?
It's crazy to me. We've just been walking over living things, living beings, not just land, not just ice, but something that was, something that is. Like, this whole world could be a giant, or a cluster of them, all transformed, all waiting. What if the mountains we climb, the valleys we cross, the very ground beneath our feet isn't just stone? What if it's all something else?
It's wild, isn't it? I never even considered such a thing, but now that we're standing here hearing this, it makes so much sense. The world shifts, changes, reshapes itself, but what if it's not just time and erosion? What if every avalanche, every quake, every shift in the Earth's bones isn't just nature, but instead it's them? It's the last remnants of thoughts too vast for us to understand.
I gotta be honest, this is making me deeply uncomfortable, like existentially uncomfortable. I don't like the idea that every time I took a piss outside, it might have been on someone's face.
Why are you deeping it so much?
Because it's a problem. Imagine dying, turning into a goddamn mountain, and then some random guy comes along and...
Mite.
Fine. I'll shut up. I'll be quiet. But I don't have to be happy about it.
The cavern groans as Hrimvaldir shifts, a slow tectonic movement that sends deep cracks splintering through the ice beneath your feet. His weight settles, and the air itself seems to compress, like the space is bending to accommodate something too vast to simply exist here without consequence. His eye, vast and cold as a frozen sea, narrows, shadows shifting along the cavern walls as he exhales, long, slow, the breath of something that has endured beyond the lifespans of empires.
You come here, demanding words, seeking counsel, asking to stand where gods once walked. But what do you bring? What offering can you place upon the scale of eternity? What answer do you have for wounds carved deeper than time? You speak of intentions, of purpose. But tell me, small ones, what power do you wield that could mend the ruin of ages?
Well, to be honest...
You don't have to answer now. Have a little think on how you want to approach all this, because that's where we're going to wrap up this session. See you later, guys.